Yo, what's cracking guys? Phazon here, and today I'm bringing you guys some true Draco gameplay. As I mentioned in the profile, I think that this deck is the best control deck that you can play on a budget in Master Duel. I think it has an incredible grind game, it goes super well going first, and it can actually break boards going second. But yeah, we're playing against Adamanticators, which obviously is one of the best combo decks in the game, especially without interruption. He opens Doki Doki and goes into Researcher with Researcher Effect, and then goes for Researcher Effect to rip off the top. He finds no hits, and off the bat, I think he's playing a bunch of weird stuff here. He is playing the O-Lion, the Called By, he's playing Ash Blossom. These are cards I don't think you need. And then he'll go into Seeker Effect, and again, this right here, huge misplay. He turns the Doki Doki and the Researcher into a Halka Fibrax. This is wrong for two reasons. One, when Halka Fibrax uses its effect, he's going to shuffle the deck afterwards, which means those 5 cards that he just ripped off the top are going to be randomly in the deck again, which means he can find them again off of the Seeker. You want to use the Seeker effect first because you have a slightly higher chance of finding a playable card. On top of that, he didn't use Doki Doki effect pitching a 4, which means he can't get into his Analyzer consistently unless he gets lucky off of the Raptite that he's going to summon later in his turn. And even if he doesn't have a 4 now, if he uses Seeker effect and finds the Kawaki Miru Supplier, that will give him a Guardian in hand, which he can use for Doki Doki. So this sequencing is all wrong. He goes into Jet Synchron, another card I think you don't need. He goes for Seeker Effect, and look at there, it's the O-Lion again. I really doubt he's playing 2, so he found the same O-Lion. And then he's also playing Imperm and Strike, which are cards, again, I don't think you need to be playing in this deck. He turns the Jet Synchron and the Hulk into an Auroradon. The Auroradon's going to summon his tokens. And then he's going to use Auroradon Effect to bring out the O-Lion, sink the tokens and the O-Lion into a Savage, and then he's going to go ahead and trigger the O-Lion effect to summon another token. So, in fairness to him, we're dealing with a pretty big Savage here because Auroradon's going to give it a bunch of attack. The Jet Synchron is going to go ahead and bring itself back, sync with the token for a Herald of the Arclight. And then he's going to use the remaining 2 monsters to go into a Raptite here, which is going to give him one more Adamanticator effect. And off of this rip, he's going to go ahead and find that Analyzer. So even though he didn't use Doki Doki effect earlier, he didn't get punished here. Even still, I think that it is obviously incorrect to have done it in this way. He just got a little bit lucky. The Analyzer effect is going to go ahead and go into Supplier here, which is going to let him add the Guardian to hand. And here, I would turn these 2 4s into like a Dragite or an Abyss Dweller, because he does have the Halka Fibrax engraved, so Dragite is going to have a spell negate. Or you could turn it into Abyss Dweller if you're just playing blind first, because who knows, if your opponent's playing Drytron, Abyss Dweller's kind of a pain. But instead he decides to go into Gallon Granite. I think going into Gallon Granite early in the turn to get to your Adamanticator names through Block Dragon is fantastic. I think using it this late is pointless. He's already used all of his Adamanticator names. This doesn't accomplish anything. Even still, he'll summon Block Dragon and pass. Again, huge misplay. I think the Block Dragon could have been used for more, even if it wasn't really searching anything that would have come up this turn, though he could have searched the Kawaki Miru Supplier and his Gigantes. The Block Dragon, the Gallon Granite, and the Raptite could be used to climb into like an Appaloosa, which I think would help quite a lot here. But either way, we're going to go ahead and start my turn. I'm going to use my Disciples of the True Draco just to bait his negate. And then we're going to go ahead and use the True Draco Heritage, and he's going to use his Raptite to banish my spell. I don't really care. And then we're going to Tribute Summon the Dynamite Knight using the spell. I'm going to use the spell to try to pop his back row, which is an Imperm, great. I decide not to chain my Dynamite Knight, because if he negates with Herald of the Arclight, he's going to pop my Dynamite, which is going to be a huge problem for me. I instead attack into the Herald, and then go to my main 2, where I'll use Terraforming to get to my Draconic Diagram. This is going to be super important for our grind game. I use the Diagram to pop the Dynamite Knight, because what I'm thinking here is the only way to break this board is to have Skill Drain in response to some Draco trap card going to grave and attempting to pop the Savage, which he'll be forced to negate. So I need the Majesty Maiden to tribute summon, I need the trap card, which is going to let me tribute summon the Majesty, and I need the Skill Drain. The only remaining card that I can pop is my Dynamite Knight on field. So we're going to go ahead and set 2 and pass the turn. We let him go to his main phase where he's going to use Raptide effect. I actually have to let this resolve because as it is his main phase, he's allowed to make the first action, which means I cannot use my True King's Return to normal summon earlier than this point. So now we're going to go ahead and chain the True King's Return, and before I normal summon, I decide to use its other effect to special summon the Dynamite Knight back, just so I have a body. He's going to resolve the Raptide. Which is going to let him get to Seeker. I'm going to use the other effect of True King's Return to tribute summon my Majesty Maiden. I'm going to attempt to pop his Savage, which he's going to attempt to negate, and I'll chain Skill Drain. So this has all been going exactly how we had hoped. So we're going to pop the Savage, and now we are in quite the simplified game state. He's going to link my Dynamite Knight with all of his monsters into an Underworld Goddess. Here I am pretty thankful that I summoned that Dynamite Knight first, because had he linked the Majesty Maiden away, I would have been left with an empty board, which would have been a problem. He's going to go ahead and bring Block Dragon back, summon Adamancipator Researcher, summon Adamancipator Seeker, summon Gigantes, turn the 3 of those monsters into a Unicorn. At this point, I'm pretty sure he's just tilted and pressing buttons because he's kind of in a really bad spot. He's going to attack into the Majesty Maiden, which is going to get protected with Draconic Diagram. And here I'm going to have the Kaiser Coliseum, so even if he's able to out my Skill Drain, I'm able to keep the board pretty simplified, and we slowly just have to generate resources on my side. The thing is, Adamancipators is not a deck that's known for their grind games, so provided I can keep the game state simplified, I'm eventually just going to win through resources. Because I'm only taking 400 a turn, I'm not in a huge rush, so I'm going to go ahead and pop the Amano Iwata with Draconic Diagram, search a Disciples, which is going to let me start cycling back some of the cards in my grave. And it's going to find another Kaiser Coliseum. Not optimal, but I'm going to go ahead and just activate it because I know Adamancipators don't typically play a lot of back row removal. He's going to get another search off of Block Dragon. And here we're going to go back into his turn, where he's just trying to get cards into the grave. I don't really understand what the point of this build is. It seems like he'd just be better suited spamming the board turn 1 rather than trying to play for these long games. So we're going to go ahead and attack over his monster, which he's going to use to bounce the Skill Drain. But I'm going to go ahead and just reset the Skill Drain. And I'm thinking I have game on board next turn. So he's going to go into his turn, go into battle. I'll take another 400, but he really just can't do anything. He's not able to summon any monsters, so he'll pass it back to me. And here I'm going to start pushing for game. I'm going to use the Draconic Diagram to pop my trap card, which is going to also pop his Underworld Goddess in addition to giving me a search. And now I have 2 Draco monsters in hand. I'm going to go ahead and normal summon one using the Kaiser Coliseum, and then normal summon the other using the effect of my spell card. And at this point he realizes it's game over, so he's going to go ahead and just end. But yeah, I hope this kind of shows you guys how strong this deck can be, even dealing with a deck like Adamancipators, which at this point I think a lot of people agree is a tier 1 contender very easily. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys are playing, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.